Hello and welcome. This is Africa in 10 minutes. Stay tuned as I bring to you the top business news as reported on Footprint to Africa. I'm Chamaka J. Uwadoka. Let's take a look at the headlines. Ghana receives €175 million grant from the EU. Tanzania tops inclusive economy. And in Kenya, Uber seeks larger market share. And now the news in details. Ghana and the European Union have signed 4 financing agreements to support Ghana's development activities with a total grant package of €175 million over a period of 7 years. The agreement was signed by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta on behalf of the West African country and the EU Ambassador to Ghana, William Hanna. Signing the agreement, Ken Ofori-Atta stated that €102 million out of the grant under the European Development Fund was designed to support Ghana's productive investment in infrastructure for agricultural development in the Savannah Ecological Zone. The minister said also €8 million will be used to support the Public Financial Management Program and the Stepping Stone Economic Partnership Agreement, while €45 million will support the decentralized program in Ghana. He pointed out that some €20 million will be used for resilience against climate change programs to create awareness. Speaking to the ambassador, he said, "Your support could not have come at a better time. As you are aware, agriculture, public financial management, decentralization and climate change are priority areas for the government of Ghana in terms of job creation, service delivery and better financial management." In other news, the World Economic Forum has listed Tanzania top in the inclusive economy among African countries in 2018. Inclusive growth is economic growth that creates an opportunity for all segments of the population and distributes the dividends of increased prosperity both in monetary and non-monetary terms fairly across society. According to a report released by WEF through its project, the Inclusive Development Index (IDI), Tanzania has been ranked top in the inclusive economy in Africa due to strong implementations of various economic policies which enabled Wananchi to participate fully in economic activities. The IDI is an annual assessment of 103 countries' economic performance that measures how countries perform on 11 dimensions of economic progress in addition to GDP. It has 3 pillars: growth and development, inclusion and intergenerational equity, and sustainable stewardship of natural and financial resources. The statistics on Tanzania's performance reflects President John Magufuli's plans to ensure the country owns its economy. In different platforms, the head of state has been encouraging and insisting on the establishment of industries and engaging in various economic activities. So far, various Tanzanians have managed to establish both small and big industries, which is in line with the government's economic policy to build up an industrial-driven economy. Professor Ernest Ngowi of Nzube University's School of Business said, "The WEF statistics indicate that the Tanzanian economy is on the right path to be owned by majority Tanzanians, which will help to minimize the gap between the haves and the have-nots." The renowned economist said inclusive economy enables many people to participate in their own economy and in various activities, which is healthy for the country's development. According to Professor Ngowi, some countries have strong and good economies, but it belongs to few people and thus creates a big gap between the rich and the poor. The organizations predicted that while the world's economy is expected to grow at an average of 3 to 4%, the Tanzanian economy is predicted to grow at the rate of between 6.5 and 7% in 2018. Also, Tanzania's economy is listed among the best 5 growing economies in Africa. Moving on, the International Finance Corporation, World Bank subsidiary committed to private sector funding, plans to inject $9 million in a housing development in the West African Economic and Monetary Union WEMU area. IFC, in a statement, said the grant is to help ease the increasing housing deficits within the WEMU region. The grant, it added, will be directed to the Union's Regional Mortgage Refinancing Fund, the HRRC, charged to facilitate access to housing loans for populations by supplying liquidity to banks. IFC's financing is expected to improve housing access rates within the sub-region, which has a deficit of 3.5 million houses and where only 7% of households own houses. We just launched a second operation much larger that should help disburse at least $500 million in housing finance by 2021, said Sergio Pimenta, IFC's Vice President for the Middle East and Africa. Senegal is looking to strengthen its trade ties with Kenya. Macky Sall, President of the Republic of Senegal, held talks with his Kenyan counterpart Uhuru Kenyatta on the sidelines of the AU summit. Their discussion was reportedly focused on boosting the two countries' bilateral ties following the AU affair. Their talks come just over a year after Kenya's then Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary, Ambassador Amina Mohammed, represented President Kenyatta during the 3rd International Forum on Peace and Security hosted by President Sall. At the time, Ambassador Amina had a bilateral meeting with President Sall and reaffirmed cordial relations between Kenya and Senegal. A section of African leaders who attended the summit have vowed to focus on reforms and made moves towards creating a free trade area. The reform measures, crafted by a panel led by Rwandan President Paul Kagame, focused on enhanced financial contributions. They are centered on ensuring greater efficiency at the AU Commission in Ethiopia. President Kenyatta at the summit said, Kenya strongly supports the reforms at the African Union, as that is the surest way to ensure the Union, its Commission, organs and agencies are fit for purpose and well equipped to deliver on the ambitious aspirations of the African people as spelled out in Agenda 2063. Kenya recently joined the ranks of Senegal, Cape Verde, Ethiopia, Morocco, Ghana, Nigeria and South Africa when it announced plans to launch direct flights to the United States this year. Moving on, Uber, a ride-hailing service with operations across the world, has seen its Kenyan subsidiary revamp its services in a bid to grow its market share. The company's Kenyan arm has launched an offering known as Uber Chap Chap, a service that caters to riders seeking short trips or looking to run quick errands. Uber Chap Chap is currently only available in Kenya's capital city of Nairobi. Uber Kenya's Elizabeth Njeri said, "We will expand the area when possible to serve even more people." In a statement, the firm told its customers to expect cool, compact and comfortable brand new cars. With fares starting at 100 Kenyan shillings, which is less than $1, Uber Kenya expects to corner the short trip segment of the country's ride-hailing sector. The launch of the new service came barely a week after Uber marked its third anniversary since its entry into the Kenyan market. The taxi-hailing service has been contending with increased competition from other firms, including Taxify, Little, Mondo Ride and ShareCab. The introduction of new players into the market has been responsible for a series of price wars within the industry. Service providers have, in the recent past, been prompted to adjust their fares to match the needs of the market and maintain profitability while still remaining competitive. Uber operates in 74 nations across the globe. The ride-hailing firm says it has 5,000 drivers and 363,000 users on its Kenyan database. And finally this week, one of the world's leading financial service companies, JP Chase & Co., has announced its intention to establish branches in Ghana and Kenya. The company, which declared $96.7 billion in revenue in 2016, is targeting multinational firms operating in Ghana's oil and gas industry. Speaking with Bloomberg TV at the sidelines of the World Economic Forum meeting in Davos, Switzerland, the chief executive of JP Chase & Co., Jamie Dimon, disclosed that the company will soon establish branches in Ghana and Kenya. He said, "We want to expand our services. We will go there, serve the country. We will serve the US multinational going in, the universities and the power plants. You see us open in some countries we are not in Africa. You'll be hearing about some of that stuff." Mr. Dimon explained that JP Morgan is planning to expand its branches and operation worldwide with an investment portfolio of $20 billion. The company had earlier announced that it will spend the said amount over 5 years. It added that it will raise hourly pay for a portion of its workforce, add jobs and open 400 branches in the new US locations. The move, the bank explains, is due to tax breaks, reduced regulation and an improved business climate in the US that have made it possible to make the changes. That wraps up this week's news. Please stay tuned for a recap of the stories. Ghana receives €175 million grants from the EU. Tanzania tops in inclusive economy. IFC plans $9 million housing investment for Wemu zone. Senegal seeks stronger trade ties with Kenya. In Kenya, Uber seeks larger market share as ride-hailing service launches new service in Kenya's central business district. JP Chase set to open branches in Ghana and Kenya. Join the conversation on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and connect with us on LinkedIn. Stay updated with the trending business news in Africa. Log on to www.footprinttoafrica.com today. Footprint to Africa, business news made in Africa by Africans.